Journal entry 44. Drops of rain is the god's tears for the fallen. The Lion's Arch mission has taken its first casualty amongst the chapter. Knight Leandon went missing last night during our raid into the city. I can honestly say I thought it would be Recruit Meadows. The way she charges the enemy shows that she does not have the slightest sense of self-preservation. And when I brought that up in a discussion with her, she justified it, and failed to come to her senses. Knight Alifer grounded her for a week, but Knight Mist showed up shortly after Linda left, saying she did not care about the head medic's orders. Does Knight Mist have any idea how disastrous it can be for morale if leading officers give contradicting orders? I do not care that much anyway. Maybe it is a good thing for me. Now I can just ask Elva or Linda if Knight Mist gives me some stupid order to stay in camp or whatever. Recruit Meadows approached me yesterday. She seemed regretful about her previous behavior, although she did not explicitly apologize. She said she did not want to despise me any longer, and that she wanted to be called Zaya from now. I answered that she will still refer to me as Crusader Ivoryheart until I see fit. The future will show if our relation improves or worsens again, or if she gets herself killed before that. Knight Leandon led us into Lion's Arch yesterday. On the shores we fought the Molten Alliance with an intensity not seen since Ore. Scarlet seems to have an endless supply of troops. We fought bravely, but in the end the Knight called for a retreat into Fort Marina. I was aiding some civilians at the time, and when I looked behind me the chapter was running towards the fort. I knew that was the chance I had been waiting for. I quickly ran in the opposite direction, jumped into the river and swam across to the eastern side of the city, where the Toxic Alliance can be found. I managed to sneak past most of them, only killing a few that held key positions. After a while of sneaking around, I found what I came for. Some small offshoots to refill my stock with. I carefully picked them and put them in one of my quivers, then headed back for Fort Marina, the chapter. I found them right outside the fort gate, engaging the Molten Alliance anew. There was no time for explanations, with the number of enemies increasing with every second. We pushed them back for a brief moment, ran into the lighthouse and escorted a few civilians to the fort. Then Scarlet sent one of her giant mutated char for us. Soldiers were flying right and left from its blows, and on top of that the Molten Alliance stormed the fort almost at the same time. The chapter were scattered all over the fort, trying to fight the enemy at multiple fronts. The Knight commanded the chapter to retreat to the fort exit, and before we headed for the city exit we managed to kill the beast. The rest of the chapter ran, but Crusader Gw2 and I spotted Leandon falling behind. We managed to get him up on his feet, and he commanded us to run for it. I waited for both the Crusader and the Knight by the fort exit, but only Gw2 showed up, saying that the Knight had gone before us, so we ran, and we did not look back. When we got out and the dust had settled, the Knight was nowhere to be found. Gw2 wanted to head back inside, but that would be suicide. For belonging to a race that proclaims themselves as smarter than any other, she seems rather stupid. I let the char handle her, and went back to the camp. Fredrickson needed my attention, since he had suffered some more burns. I would try to let him rest for some days now. I think that I and Gw2 will be the only one that misses Leandon. Knight Mist shrugged it off like it was a mosquito on her arm. I wanted to slap some sense into her, screaming that it was someone that would have died for her, made her realize that we lost someone close today. But I remained quiet. Starting another argument with Knight Mist would not improve my situation within the chapter anyway. Leandon was not a true member of our chapter, but he was one of the knights that have treated me with the most respect, and I will miss him. There was no time for explanation. With the number of enemies increasing